Hey everyone, today we are looking at the majority of Matthew chapter 5 in our reading today. If you have not read this section in our reading plan, I suggest you go and do it. Chapter 5 is the beginning of a section in Matthew's Gospel called the Sermon on the Mount. The Sermon on the Mount goes from Matthew chapter 5 all the way to the end of chapter 7. And it is one of the most remarkable sections of Scripture in the whole Bible. It's one sort of long consecutive sermon that Jesus gives to a crowd of mixed people, both of his followers, of some religious people who are in the crowd, but mainly just normal, everyday people. People who suffer, people who worry, people who are going through, just difficult life circumstances like most of us. And so Jesus stops and he preaches this sermon that is quite remarkable. In fact, most people think that Matthew chapter 5 to 7 is the principle of what it means to live Christianly. It is the description of how we are supposed to live, our Christian ethic. What does it mean to follow Jesus, in other words? And so, if you read through the whole section, you'll discover, just unpack so much stuff of what it actually looks like to practically live according to the way of Jesus. It's really powerful. And chapter 5, in particular, starts off with something called the Beatitudes. Beatitude simply means blessing in Latin, and that comes from the first word that Jesus says, where he says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who mourn." That word blessed is the Greek word makarios, which means happy or blessed, in other words. And then it goes on to describe all of these people who you would not think would be blessed. And so there's always been a question of what does Jesus mean in this section in particular, in the Beatitudes? Is Jesus saying that you are blessed if you become these things? If you become sad, if you become poor in spirit? Or is he saying something else? And I've always wondered that. Or is he saying that, one day we'll be blessed? Is that what it's about? And I read a really good book in my seminary study, and I just want to read a little section as our little tidbit of wisdom today. And that comes from a book called, wait for it, Kingdom Ethics by Glenn Stassen and David Gushee. It's a thick book, as you can see, but this is, I had a whole class on the Sermon on the Mount in my seminary, and it was one of the best courses I've ever taken. And this book in particular has really helped me to understand what it means to understand Jesus' ethics here, and then what does it mean to apply them to our everyday lives. So let me just read a little section about the Beatitudes that these men say. It says this: "Is Jesus saying, 'Happy are those who mourn because mourning makes them virtuous, and so that they will get a reward for that virtuous people deserve?' Or is he saying, 'Congratulations to those who mourn because God is gracious and God is acting to deliver us from our sorrows?' The tradition of ideals or wisdom, one, speaks to people who are not what their ideals urge, and two, promises them that if they will live by the ideals, they will get the rewards of well-being and success. The Beatitudes are not like that. They speak to disciples who are already being made participants in the presence of the Holy Spirit through Jesus Christ. We already know at least a taste of the experience of mourning, mercy, peacemaking, and so on. And secondly, they do not promise distant well-being and success. They congratulate disciples because God is already acting to deliver them. They are based not on the perfection of the disciples, but on the coming of God's grace, already experienced in Jesus, at least in mustard-sized seed." What that's saying is that the Beatitudes in particular are not these lofty ideals that we will never be able to live up to, or saying that we have to become this way in order for God to reward us in such a fashion. But what the Beatitudes are is simply declaring that God is at work for people who find themselves in these situations, that there's something blessed or happy because God is at work right now. And it makes sense when you look through Scripture, right? That today is the day that salvation has come. Today is the day that God has shown up in our sorrow, in our grief, in our despair. And that is what the Beatitudes is all about. It says, take comfort. Because even though our situation may not be what we hoped it to be, even though we're suffering or we're in despair or we're being persecuted or whatever it is, God is present with us right now, and He is working His kingdom purposes out in our lives and through the rest of the world as well. So we can have hope. We are blessed now. I hope that as you read this section, you'll understand the amazing promises of Jesus, that it's all about Him, and that because it's about Him, we have this freedom to live this new transformed life. And Matthew chapter 5 and onwards go on to tell us exactly how to put Jesus's ideas into everyday practice. So may you and I be people who live in light of God's gracious gift of Jesus that has changed everything. See you later.